Hello, everyone, and welcome to your world session. This is February 12th, 2026, and please show me a little bit of love and like, share, subscribe. This is just for all of us to benefit from healing, and I do this weekly. There are a bunch of people who come on live with me so that we can all talk about what healing needs to occur, and they really support this session. So you hear bits and pieces of the session, but there's a lot more that goes into it. So you're welcome to join us live if you want to just check on my website for the Zoom link. All right, so today we're going to work with amyloid plaque, the platonic forms, or the ultimate or the idealization of the feminine and masculine. They are different. They have a different dynamic, and they're within both of us. If you go into Indian tradition, we've got Ida, Pingala channels in the Kundalini, which move through the body mind. They again have different qualities, and those qualities make up the whole. If you're in a female body, you're going to have a little bit tiny, tiny, like a little 2% more, 1% more feminine. Of course, that varies. And if you're in a male body, a little bit more masculine in your qualities. But it's so little. We're way more similar than we're different. But the differences really help us to understand how we live together, relate together, work together to create society, to experience all the wonderful things that we experience in the world. So we're going to work with plaque in the brain. So many of us have been brainwashed to reverse things. Like a lot of women I've spoken to say, if I say, is creative masculine or feminine? And they'll say, oh, it's feminine because we create babies. And it's not really so. Now, of course, we create babies, but the masculine within us and in men is creative. That's where we see, let's say you're a painter and there's someone here who actually is an artist. Well, actually, a couple of people who are artists. So their masculine is going to create a painting, right? That's what they're going to do. And there are lots of mommies here, so they create babies. But that has nothing to do with the feminine and masculine. I mean, the male and female, it has to do with the feminine and masculine. Sorry, I reversed that. So when we're in our third eye, when we're going out there and we're envisioning something, we're in the masculine. When we're creating something, we're in the masculine. So if you ever, like a lot of women will say, oh, my husband's not listening to me. He doesn't see the garbage pail. He doesn't realize he keeps walking over the laundry basket because he doesn't see the laundry. Yeah, because he's a man, and men are always envisioning and creating. That's where they lean. Whereas our focus as female is on the practical. And who does the whining? It's usually the female. So the female goes, you didn't take out the garbage. You got to do the laundry. That's the disruptive. That's the dynamic that comes from the feminine. So if you really feel into yourself, you have varying degrees of this. This is not set in stone, but it is set within the feminine and masculine for thousands and thousands of years. But you can go discover that on your own. I'm just giving you some helpful tips because it's so good to feel into how you function. If I go, oh, I can't hear, I can't communicate with other people, right? I can't hear, I can't see, I can't see. No, I can't see, I can't hear. So it's the same with our feminine and masculine. There are certain things that we need to understand about ourselves so we can communicate with others better. If I think that I remember once I was talking to someone who I'm related to, and he was saying that, oh, he's very practical, and that he thinks of practical steps. And the practical steps he was talking about were 3 weeks away. And I said, that's not practical. That's practical steps for then. We need some practicality right now. You're envisioning what will be practical in the future, but we need a solution now. And that solution needs to be practical here. And this is the solution for right now. But you're envisioning what will be practical. So that's more the masculine view. I'm looking at what will be, but I'm not really here, centered, grounded on what is practical right now. So those are points of contention, right? We'll often miscommunicate, especially if you're in relationships. I don't care what sex your relationships are, because somebody's going to be more in their masculine, more in their feminine. If you understand that, then you're better able to deal with each other. That also relates to flexibility in the brain, because we tend to perceive of something that do less, we do less as an insufficiency. So if I'm envisioning less what's going on in the future, my partner is seeing what's going on in the future, I am not inferior. I am just not doing that thing. I am not the victim where he's doing better. So there's no jealousy, there's no resentment. There is just that's what he does. You can evolve it in yourself if you like to, but you must take the bull by the horns and have that evolution. If you don't do that, it's complete abnegation of responsibility. It's the increasing of brainwashing and sort of, yeah, I'm going to just stick to resentful behavior. All right, so let's get all of these concepts. I don't want to go any more into them, but you'll understand that there's a lot of energy behind it that is helping us to become flexible and stop integrating ideas and thoughts into our brains and then into the body that tell us something is a certain way without that variability that is coming from us innately. It is not necessarily conditioned. The conditioning can be the problem or it could be your advantage, right? If I'm conditioned to be responsible or if I'm conditioned to be the victim, you can tell there can be problems resulting. If I'm going to be the victim, I'm always going to cause dissent, especially as a female. I'm going to have the tendency to be more disruptive, and that disruption is going to keep saying I'm the victim and I don't have to be responsible. You should be responsible for me. Horrible place to be, which means the gut brain is not discerning appropriately. The gut brain is going to start to get conditioned. The brain is. And what will that lead to? Well, it'll lead to a bad society and a bad brain because you won't be using the reasoning part of the brain. All right. So you might say, I know how to reason. Um, why don't you check on yourself? I'm not criticizing anyone. This is what I do for myself every day. Am I reasoning properly? Is this brainwashing? Have I been brainwashed to believe this? What did I just say? I listen to what I say and I go, what did I just say? Even as I'm going through this innate session, I'm like, how did I say things? How did I word things? Maybe somebody's going to say, hey, you said this. I'm wondering about that. But I did put a corollary here that the way the feminine and masculine works, I don't know if we can't interchange them, but we can understand the mixture of them can be variable. And in that variability, we're going to have every single human being unique, but it is you. That is you. The irresponsibility is going to be the pathology. Victimhood is going to be the pathology. So if I hear something, um, okay, so let's say for many years, being in my work, in my practice, it wasn't a corporation. So when I went to the bank to uh, buy a house, they wouldn't give me enough money. So I could leave and go, oh, they won't give me enough money. Oh, woe is me. I didn't do that. I got up and said, okay, you've got to keep saving the money, invest the money, keep saving it till you can buy a house. That's what you're going to do. You're going to keep working, or in those days, I didn't realize it was if I had incorporated, I'd be a little bit better off. Not totally, but a little bit better off. Um, so there were a lot of things that I could do, which I did do, and eventually was able to purchase a house. Um, Oh, I can't buy a car. Of course you can buy a car. You just can't buy the car you want. You can't buy a Porsche. Big deal, but you can go ahead and buy a car. You can go work, save up 500 bucks and buy a $500 car. Maybe today that you can't do that. I mean, when I was a kid, you could buy a $100 car. Then when I was in my 40s, the car was $1,500 a used car. Now I don't know what they are, but I'm sure you could get something around 2000. These are things that totally change your life. if you're able to be responsible and, raise the bar for yourself, not for other people. We tend to raise the bar for other people. No, raise the bar within yourself of where you need to be. Otherwise, you go into victim mode. That goes out into your community, that goes out into your society, and everybody gets lowered. So, this is up to you. So, now we're going to take all of this consciousness and melt out that plaque. I can feel some areas in my brain that are already placking out, and I want to pick them off. But the innate is saying, let's turn it to a fluid. So it's turning a little bit into a goop as I'm seeing it. But at the same time, I'm seeing the small intestine. If you look at the small intestine, a picture of it, it looks like the undulations of the brain. So we're doing a parallel there and really getting all of the lining of the small intestine to parallel with the brain and get that plaque kind of moving. So some of the plaque looks flaky. It looks kind of hard, almost like dandruff, and kind of big. If you think of a shell and you pull the areas of a shell off, I can see that. And we want it to turn liquid. So the consciousness, along with some it's a particular type of circulation of some subatomic and atomic particles from zero-point field using sacred geometry to go in and get those things to transmute into a fluid that can go straight into the lymphatic system. So if you're feeling it right now, I'm going to you can just draw it down into your subclavian area. So under the clavicle, get that stuff moving, then bounce your belly, hit your belly, you know, get it moving. So we want those two to be related so stuff moves. Get it all moving. And nice deep breath. And there we go. We're going to honor the forms, the ultimate idealized forms of the feminine and masculine. I like using Shakti Shiva as those images. So I'm just going to see that, but you can use what you want if you go through Greek mythology or you have some kind of vision. Just think of the feminine and the masculine. I'm using Shakti Shiva for myself. And maybe, how about we use Zeus and Athena? We can use Zeus and Athena. And breathe and use whoever you want to use and just feel into it. Just kind of flow with it. Those images, they're both there for you and they're supporting you. They're supporting it all so that the brain is more flexible, works better, and you can feel the dynamic of responsibility and practicality coming up. And to stop being brainwashed by what you think you should have. Oh, God. What I think I should have, what I think I should have, the minute I don't get it, and I'm saying I as the whole world, the minute I don't get it means I'm a victim. That is just totally bogus. Totally bogus. That is ridiculous. I don't have something, so that means I'm a victim? No. You level up and go get what you can get with what you are able to do. You don't have to have what the neighbor has. That's just jealousy and resentment. You don't need to have what the neighbor has. You look within and find in the world where you need to be. What's your purpose? What's your mission here? Your mission might to have zero money, zero home, and just go and help people. That's all you need to do. Who knows what your mission is? You're the only one who knows. Stop looking outside at what you don't have. Look outside and see what other people need from you. It's going to make life so much better. The more you navel gaze, the more you look at yourself, the more anxious you become, the more difficult it is. The more you look outside and see, what can I offer you? It's going to be better. Now, remember, there always has to be a balance, right? There always needs to be, all right, if I'm going to give 50% of the time, then 50% of the time I'm going to need to rest and have a nice meal and do my breathing. Yes, I'm going to need to do those things, but not constant navel gazing, right? There are a lot of people that are finally saying this out loud the more you talk about your problems, the more you have the problem. We're not supposed to be talking about our problems. We're supposed to be talking about what resolves the problem. Like, I'm bored. Okay, go go online, look up something and start learning about it. Learn how to make a watch, learn how to paint, learn how to draw. Go do something. Yes, and discover the world. Today, there's no excuse. Of course, most people don't know what it's like anymore, what it was like where you went out in the world, and as soon as, the internet started, I was always like, wow, I don't have to fly somewhere to go and learn this. I can learn this right here. Yeah, okay. Go fly somewhere and do it. Do whatever it is you need to do. But yeah, time to get off our butts and do something that's good for everybody, not just yourself. Okay? For those of you who are already doing these things, that message is not for you. Those people are already out there doing for other people. The message is not for you. But of course, you're the ones who are going to think it's just for you, right? I'm even hearing it going, oh, I could do more for people. It's like, yeah, okay. You know, again, balance. We're working with what needs to be outside. So if you're thinking about what's wrong with you all the time, start looking around and seeing who you could help. Okay? Who can you help if you think there's something wrong with you? Enough. Okay. Love y'all. Bye. Please like, share, and subscribe.